I was sitting listening to Black Americans tell their Black history story, and I became extremely irritated while I was listening to Black Americans tell their Black history story. Now, these particular Black Americans, it always begins with the post-slavery narrative, all about the struggles and the mistreatment and so on. So we came from Africa, as the story goes. We were slaves, and then the fight for civil rights, the fight for freedom, all the way up to today. It's about how Black people have triumphed despite the oppression, which is all well and good. It's what they're not saying that gives me pause. I almost threw up listening to the same old lame old story of the civil rights movement or Jim Crow. Is that all we know? What about before Jim Crow? You know, the stories that we don't know, but they do. The story of no slavery for them, but lifelong slavery for you. The story of Black slave owners and Black slave catchers. The story of militias with Black men in them. The stories of these Blacks fighting to keep slavery and now fighting to keep us mentally trapped in a cycle of rehearse, replay, remind, retraumatize. This has been continual. When will it end? We will tell them when will they tell them who they really are? When will they tell them who they were before slavery and those accomplishments? Why don't we tell them that this was never about the color of the Negro skin? That lies only for the poor people. This was and still is about who the Negroes are and the God that has a covenant with them. They are participant even if they have to, as Idris said in the last movie I seen. Take one for the team, and they're taking one for the team, for they are willing to suffer in service to whatever they serve. And God's people should take note. Israel or not, take note. From the followers of other gods, they are dedicated. The reason I started this rant of writing is because I just listened to a so-called Negro Black American or African American who began her story in the 1960s with her mom starting a Black business. And that business is still in existence today. But then she started to roll back her history. And she said that her ancestor was a Buffalo soldier who, after leaving that post, went on to help W.E.B. Du Bois start the Niagara Group or organization, of which Du Bois left for the NAACP. So her ancestor was one of the other Black people. I learned also that day that the Buffalo Soldiers were Confederate. And I should have known that they were not Negro descendants of slaves because they hunted down the Mongol-American Indians for the U.S. government, just like those same Blacks did Negroes during slavery. So I was really having a hard time sitting there. I felt like I was having an anxiety attack or something, because the more they talked, the more upset I became. I can't do this, I said. I have to go and write this so that I can feel better. There, I got it out. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a good day.